Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. Hi, Chuck.
Oh, I should probably turn off my. Wow, I'm zoomed in very tight. Hello.
I didn't touch it.
You're the only one who's allowed in here.
That's
anytime
not true.
Anytime I come in here and it's not like the countdown is not running, you're sitting here and you're like, "Get out! This is my lair."
Yeah, my lair. Yes,
You
that
do say
is
that a lot.
exactly. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I just got an email from the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Would you like to know who's going in the class of 2022?
Sure, why not?
Track star Bob Beeman, former Dallas Lincoln and 11-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champ and Olympic gold medalist Chris Bosch, who I once ran into in Germany.
Flex.
One of only 2 players to ever win an NBA championship, a EuroLeague title, and an Olympic gold medal, Manu Ginobili.
Let's go.
Do you want to meet him? Like, we could definitely get tickets and you can go meet Manu.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely yes.
The greatest quarterback in Baylor football history, Robert Griffin III.
Okay. It's a big one.
No big deal, but I've met him before.
Okay, well,
When we did
he's
the cover
not
shoot
Manu,
at
but
the-
okay.
Okay. Born in Belgium, raised in France, before descended in Texas, played for the Spurs, Tony Parker.
They're both going in?
That's what this says.
I'm going.
Olympic gold medalist Carly Patterson Caldwell. I guess she got married.
Sure.
Arlington Heights grad, TCU grad, and Houston Oilers and Dallas Cowboys product Mike Renfro. Robinson, Texas's own Susie Snyder Eppers, the basketball player. And Good Morning America host Michael Strahan. I guess he did other things.
Sure.
Too. I guess he did other things too.
There
There you go.
Nothing of note.
Yeah, so there's your list
Holy cow.
of the people who are going in the Hall of Fame. I met, this is a couple years ago.
2 of the big 3.
Let's see, it's going to be March 12th.
That's my brother's birthday.
It's a cool story. Here's another cool story. I believe the last time I went to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony was a few years ago, and Larry Johnson was going in, grandmama, the former Charlotte Hornets great,
Yes.
and I got a picture with him.
Yes.
And I made it my solemn goal that day to get a picture with every member of the Monstars from Space Jam.
Uh-huh.
I have yet to make any sort of headway because I got to find Sean Bradley,
Okay.
Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, and Charles Barkley. Those are the last 4. But I got one of the 5.
Chuck.
I got one of the
Terrible.
5. So if you are interested in setting up an opportunity for me to get a picture with another member of the Monstars,
Hook me up.
please do. Please hook me up. Do you want to go?
Absolutely, I want to go. Yes. If I have the opportunity to stand in the same room as Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, like not at a game, like at a different event, yes.
Yeah, and normally I believe the situation is, generally speaking, they like you have to be present to be inducted. I think the only exception I've ever heard was when Shaq went in, and I believe because Jerry Buss had died that week, and so he was at Jerry Buss's funeral, so he was planning on coming.
That is a worthy
and
cause.
then he was like,
yeah.
I gotta stay in LA.
Right.
So he's
Yeah.
like a video message.
Well,
or
that's good
whatever.
that they do that because then it forces people to show up.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of the situation. So there you go. That is the
That's a
latest.
good class.
Yeah, you feeling good?
Feeling good.
Okay, fantastic.
Go Spurs, go.
Let's not go crazy.
Va Spurs, va.
Did you see the video of Luka making the shot with his shoulder?
I was in the same building as Luca on Sunday.
What building was that?
AT&T Stadium. Him and Dirk
Oh,
were
well, okay.
at the Cowboy game.
I've been in the building with Dak Prescott. I guess I don't know.
I was just saying they're at the Cowboy game. They put them up on the big screen. Everyone went nuts.
Did you go nuts?
No. I was standing by 2 people that went nuts.
Was Mallory going nuts?
Mallory, yeah, she got a big kick out of that.
Yeah.
She's a Mavs fan, which is gross.
I thought she was a Grizzlies fan.
Well, yeah, she has an infatuation with Memphis, but here we
I
are.
got a lot of questions about Malpal.
Yeah.
We should have done a better job vetting.
Yeah.
Okay, hit the Theme Expo.
Let's go!
Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show. It's done 2 shows in a row now.
This is objectively true, yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be on tape. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, TexasFootball.com, corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. We're all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to check that every once in a while.
Yeah,
Maybe you
sure.
just pulled the string and be like, oh, we're not doing it on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I could just literally make you think that we're live this whole time and just
I
never
haven't checked.
actually go live.
I never verify.
You would have no idea.
I never verify for life. You're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's all sweatered up. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Did you see that it's going to get down to the 40s this weekend? That's just gross. Like, can that not happen?
You know, Matt Stepp's in Canada right now.
Well, that's his own personal choice. I choose to live in
Not
Texas
really his
where,
own
it
personal
should,
choice, like his-
where it should be warm all the time.
It's a weird take. It should just be warm all the time.
Yeah, like let's tap out at 60 is the low. That sounds good.
I mean, I'm down with that generally.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, but you know,
It can be cold on Christmas Day. I'm okay with that. Other than that, for the birds,
Yeah.
throw it away.
By the way, A White Christmas is overrated. The movie's fine. But, I mean, like, having a white Christmas.
Yeah, that's
Today is Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, 44 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Huge Ackman. Today is episode 1259. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Hugh Jackman. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, common mistake there.
It's not Huge Ackman. It's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it gets the best of us.
Episode 1259. On today's show, guys, we are going to recap the college football weekend in a segment that I have done. This is true. I wasn't here for last week's burning questions. You did them with Craven, right?
I did.
I don't know what the questions were.
Yeah.
So I get to...
They were my questions.
I get to...
I came up with them.
I get to react in real time to these questions.
Good. I'm excited.
I've done no research. I did not listen to the podcast. I checked out. So we'll recap the college football weekend coming up here. Then we'll be joined by the Hall of Famer Craig Way, who joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today. We'll round it all out with the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Plays of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Body Armor. So, do we have first 4 through the door?
Nicholas Morton, Rob Hadaway, Coach Terry Crawford, and Ed McElroy. Welcome in, fellas.
Coach Terry Crawford of those undefeated Panthers.
How about them Panthers?
Every time he's first 4 through the door, I'm going to mention their record. He's not going to want if
You're
going to
jinx them. If they lose
their
this
next,
week,
if they lose their next I think they're 7-0 or 6-0. If they lose, I'm going to assume they have 4 more games. If they lose their next 4, he's going to come to my house and hunt me down.
I hope that he will at that point.
Yeah, that's tough but fair. The Dave Campbell's Texas Football Impactful Leadership Award, presented by First National Bank of Omaha, will recognize 10 influential Texas high school football athletes who are leaders both on and off the field. This week, we're honoring big-time offensive lineman Cole Hudson from Frisco High School. He is our Dave Campbell's Impactful Leadership Award, presented by First National Bank of Omaha. Cole Hudson from Frisco High School. Read more about what makes Cole a great leader at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to our friends at First National Bank of Omaha for sponsoring the Impactful Leadership Award. All right, Pickle. It was a week of college football, and there's a lot to and as I mentioned, I have not prepared for this at all. I know what happened in college football. I watched all the college football games.
Then you'll be able to answer them.
I think I will be, but these questions I haven't prepped for. So this is going to be interesting to see what you came up with. What was our first question, Pickle? I'm genuinely curious.
Our first question with the UTSA Roadrunners was Sincere McCormick's legs or Bailey Zappi's arm, which is more dangerous?
Well, it turned out, actually, the answer was Bailey Zappi's
his arm, yeah.
It was, but not that it mattered in the end. In the end, I'm sure Sincere McCormick is happy to take the back seat and get the dub.
52-46 win over Western Kentucky, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should probably mention the score. Yes, this was, but really... So Bailey Zappi goes 38 of 60 for 523 yards and 5 touchdowns, but a critical interception at the very end. Sincere McCormick only ran for 120 yards. The star of the show for UTSA was, well, I mean, it could be DeCorian Clark, who
Yeah.
had 3 touchdown catches. But it's probably Frank
That
Harris.
helps.
It's Frank Harris, the quarterback for UTSA. Now, I'm not here to say that he outgunned Bailey Zappi. But what I am here to
But
tell
he played
you
the supporting
is that
cast role that he needed to.
he did what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do. And go ask Frank Harris if he cares that he has worse numbers than Bailey Zappi. Nope, he's 6-0. So he wants. That's a great win for UTSA in a weird trap game against a team that is better than their 1-4 record indicates.
Oh, yeah.
They're Western Kentucky is agents of chaos.
Especially in a night game on the hill.
Oh yeah, and so that was a big win for UTSA to move to 6-0 on the season. I believe they get Rice this week. Which means that they should probably be favored. And then they get at Louisiana Tech, pretty tough. At UTEP, suddenly very tough.
We'll get there.
Then Southern Miss, and then it's all going to lead up to that UAB game.
Yep.
I guess they do play at North Texas, but yeah, sorry about that.
Sad
I
call.
Anyway, Sincere McCormick's legs ended up taking a back seat. I don't think he minds.
Nope.
What's next, Pickle?
You mentioned it. How about those Miners? Does UTEP need to game plan for anything other than Frank Gore Jr. and 26-13 over Southern Miss, 5-1?
The answer was kinda yes. Jake Lang, the quarterback for Southern Miss, was okay in this game. And actually they did hold Frank Gore Jr. in check. He only had 43 yards in this game. Now, look. This was, they needed to game plan for Jake Lang. They ended up kind of zigging when they zag. But in the end, UTEP gets the win. And what I think is really impressive about this one, okay? What I think is really impressive about this game is that UTEP, the past couple of weeks, it's not fair. The past, in some games this year, they have been reliant on Gavin Hardison to go out there and do a lot of stuff. They finally got that run game going, like in earnest, a real live darn good run game. And it paid off.
And I think a big thing is to do this on the road.
Oh
like, that's
gosh.
got to give them so much more confidence heading into this. To go and you're supposed to win it, but still, it's a weird game down in Southern Miss, and it's like, man, they went on the road and they did it.
The name of the game here was that they held the Southern Miss rushing attack in check. The Southern Miss passing attack is not good enough to make up for it if their running attack is not going. Give a ton of credit to UTEP. They are 5-1, guys.
Yeah.
They're 5-1, and they've got 6 shots to win one game.
Yeah, and then bowling pins.
And by the way, they got North Texas still to come.
They've got Rice
still to come.
Yep.
They got UTSA still to come. I don't know. Feeling good for them. Yeah.
Do it, Dana.
Frank Gore Jr. was like, they don't really have a great plan B, is what you found out. So the answer was like, they ended up needing to find some passing stops, but in the end, it didn't matter. Great win for UTEP, 5-1. Go Miners. Miner up. Picks up. That's it.
Picks up, yeah. I was going to say Miner up is not what you're looking for there.
This is UTSA, and this is UTEP.
Yep.
So I can get on board with that. What's next?
Up next, how about them Bobcats? The question was, how much does a home game following a bye week play an advantage for Texas State? And with a 33-31 overtime win against South Alabama.
Oh, yeah. No, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it played a big advantage.
You're underselling it, okay? Not just a 35-31 overtime, or 33-31.
Did they go into extra? 33-31.
Pickle, they went to 4 overtimes.
4 times? Okay.
Because this thing went into the 2-point conversions, the dreaded
You're
2-point
correct,
conversions. Yep. And yeah, look, I think being at home was big. I think that they had an opportunity to game plan for a South Alabama team that, just like plain and simple, is not very good, right? And they were able to come out with a big-time win. Like, look, I'm not here to tell you that that this is a great South Alabama team. But what they do well is that their defense has actually been pretty good this year, and they found a way to make it work. And so, yeah, look, I think that they were able to go toe for toe and score for score with South Alabama, and going up against that defense, that is impressive. Yeah, I'm big on Texas State. I think this is an important win for Jake Spavital to prove that he has not lost control of the team.
And hopefully you see some sort of momentum going in after this.
Yeah, I mean, they stuck to the game plan of running the ball. and not try to make Brady McBride throw the ball all over the yard. And it worked. They had good balance in this game. Good job, Texas State. Thumbs up for now. They're 2-3. What's next?
Up next, the game of the weekend. A&M taking down number one ranked Alabama. And the question was, will we see Isaiah Spiller or Devon Chan finally make an impact in the game? 41-38. They won on a field goal if you missed it.
Yeah, sure. I guess they will. But, I mean, look. Here's the thing. So Isaiah Spiller was pretty good in this game. He was really good, I would say. He was much better out of the backfield than he was running the ball. Mm-hmm. Devon Chan changed the game. Yep. Devon Chan had in my opinion, the play of the game. Now, there are a lot of plays that can be the play of the game, mm-hmm. but immediately after Alabama blocks that punt and recovers it for a touchdown. Yep. I think it makes it 24-17 or something like that.
Yeah.
Sound about right?
Yes, I think that's right.
24-17. It's a one-score game. And I'm sitting there on my couch. I'm going like, that's it. Here it comes. Here comes the tide, so to speak. Here comes the wave, okay? And the next play, not even a play. I guess technically it is a play. Devon Chan returns the kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown. That's the biggest play of the game.
And it's because he saw this question. I'm just going to throw that
he came up huge in a big way. I think that what's funny, we had a lot of questions about why A&M was not trying to run the ball whenever they had like a quarterback who was struggling, right, with Zach Calzada. Why were they not trying to run the ball? Part of it was I don't think they trusted their offensive line. And part of it was, they were playing from behind, and so they felt like they had to throw a little bit more. In the end, this was the game where they rolled out their running game, mm-hmm. and they carried the ball 27 times against the Tide. They had a much closer to 50-50 split of runs and passes. And yeah, you know what? They got some explosive plays they got a couple of explosive plays in the passing game, but they were opened up by keeping the running game going. So I thought it was a spectacular performance. The answer was, will Isaiah Spiller? Isaiah Spiller, I think, did make his impact felt. Mm-hmm. Devon Chan most especially made his impact felt. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, the question was for the Horned Frogs on a scale of 1 to 10 when they were taking on Texas Tech. How bad did Gary Patterson need that win? And of course, they had a bad loss to SMU. They had a bad loss to Texas, so things weren't looking super good, and they went out there and they got the job done. Yeah,
they did. Look, I still have big-time concerns about their defense. Mm-hmm. Big-time concerns about their defense, okay? But what I will say is when you're running the ball like that, it may not matter. Right?
And that's the thing. They finally ran it.
They were spectacular running the ball. Kendre Miller and Zach Evans both go over 140 yards rushing. They combined for 5 touchdowns. They ran the ball really, really, really effectively. Max Duggan only threw 10 passes in this game.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up the question is, why didn't they do that in their previous 2 games? Right. What were you thinking?
It's a big question. I understand, and maybe they saw something in the Tech defense that they didn't see against Texas or didn't see against SMU. But whatever the case may be, they came up with big plays. They had 7 explosive plays in the rushing game. I mean, that is ridiculous. If you're getting that kind of production out there, 15% of your rushes are going for explosive plays. That is really impressive. They needed it badly, and they got it. And now for TCU, you hope that this is something that is sustainable, going forward. But they do have to go to Oklahoma on Saturday night. So we'll see if they'll be, we'll see if they're able to run the ball as effectively against Oklahoma as they were against Tech. Good win for them. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, the 5-0 SMU Mustangs. The question was, does Sonny Dykes have his defense prepared for the triple option? And man,
kinda.
Navy put it up on him a little bit.
What's weird, Navy always bedevils SMU. Mm-hmm. Like, even a bad Navy team. I think this is a pretty bad Navy team, right? They always bedevil SMU. Now, look, part of this is that SMU is -2 in the turnover margin. Okay, they were -2 in turnovers. Mm-hmm. For the most part, they were able to hold Navy's offense in check. A lot of this just comes down to, they were able to hold them to just 38% of their available yards. So this doesn't have to do really in a lot of ways with the defense. I thought the defense played pretty darn well. They give up 2 turnovers and, it's stuff like that. But the defense played pretty darn well against the triple option. The difference was that the offense just couldn't. They got stuck in the mud. It's the first time we've really seen the offense have to work, and really have to struggle to get the win. Look, they ended up getting the win, but I mean, defensively, SMU had a stop rate of 58%. Okay, that's pretty good. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of football games. The offense took a while to get going. Once they got going, they ended up winning. This game was not close because the defense wasn't good.
Right.
This game was close because the offense turned the ball over a couple of times, and they were just kind of stuck in the mud and ended up they ended up stalling on too often on their drives. So. I don't know. It was a weird game. This was the weirdest game of the week because SMU's a lot better than Navy. But in the end, they got the win, especially on the road in Annapolis. You just take it and run. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, what does it take for North Texas not to trap themselves in a hole early on? And they did it again with a 48-35 loss over Mizzou. And
this, and here's the thing. Again, this is much like. Oh, no, it's not like – sorry, I recorded Tep and Step, and I was thinking about a high school football game from last week. This game ended up being a 13-point game, 48-35. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled. This game was 31-7 at halftime. This game was 31-14 going into the fourth quarter.
And you just can't. They cannot keep doing that because they had a great fourth quarter. I mean, they were at least production-wise, they were able to put points on the board. But it's like, man, if you were able to do that in the second quarter, this might have been a different game. I mean,
I'm fairly certain that Mizzou took the ball and score or no. I think North Texas got the ball first. They went 3 and out, and then.
An interception.
4.5 minutes into the game, Mizzou's up 7-0. And they ran away with it in the second quarter. They pulled them 14-7 early in the second quarter on an Isaiah Johnson run, but then bang, 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 it's 31-0 or 31-7 at half. And it's like, it's over. It's over. So, yeah, their first quarters have been horrendous. They've been awful.
Yeah, they consistently get down by 14 to 21 points at the end of the first every single week.
Really, their first halves have been terrible.
Yeah.
It's just such a, I don't know. It's a frustrating team because obviously I think that there's some talent on offense.
And you can see the sparks get going at the end of the games, but it's too late.
They can't. Yeah, exactly. They're by that point, it's just like your offense can't operate when you're always down by 20.
Yeah, you're beating a dead horse at that point.
All right, what's next, Pickle?
Up next, I was supposed to say does. Alton McCaskill grab a new season high rushing yards for Houston?
Well, he didn't. That's the bad news.
Yes.
The good news is they don't care.
Nope.
They don't care at all. Alton McCaskill
40-22
ended up going for 93 yards. He went for 114 against Grambling back there. But a good game, obviously. And yeah, look, this is a game. Alton McCaskill, they've obviously found something there. They found the right balance with Clayton Tune, that they're not asking him to throw the ball 50 times a game. But I think what is most impressive about this is the stinking defense.
Yeah.
Okay? The defense was living in the backfield of Tulane. Okay? They had 8 sacks. They sacked Shea Wyatt. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael Pratt. They sacked him on 21% of his dropbacks. 21% of his dropbacks, they got a sack. That's insane. That's insane. That's functionally like a little less than once a drive. That is incredible what they were able to do. And that pass rush has been getting after fools. I've been very impressed with that pass rush. And look, Alton McCaskill had a good game. He didn't need to do more than this. They were able to run the ball effectively. Clayton Tune was solid, took care of the football. That's all you need from them. He only threw the ball 36 times. If he's thrown the ball 40-plus times, that means there's probably trouble.
Right.
So they found the right balance here. And I like Houston, we mentioned it yesterday, for a team we buried back in week 1, they have certainly just risen up from the grave. They've looked really good. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, the Baylor Bears. The question was, can Baylor find any sort of an offensive spark? And I mean, man, 45-20 and a really good early home win against West by God, Virginia. I think they found it.
and I mean, this is a rout. And again, another game where the score is not as close as it indicates. I mean, this game was functionally over in the second quarter.
Those were garbage points at the end.
Yeah, and look, this was the offense looked really good and hitting on all cylinders. I thought I think this is Gary Bohannon's best game as a Baylor Bear.
Yeah, I would agree.
336, 4 touchdowns. He didn't take a sack. He ran the ball for 18 yards and a score.
He looked confident.
He did. They were able to run the ball with Abram Smith and Treston Ebner. Tate McWilliams got a few touches. They were able to do everything that they wanted this offense to look like against a West Virginia defense that, man, they're weird. This West Virginia team is weird. Like, remember, Oklahoma had a lot of trouble with them. Tech had a lot of trouble with them. Baylor goes out there and runs roughshod over them. Getting they were outstanding in this game. I thought that overall, this was, they were successful on 46% of their plays. That'll do. It was really, really impressive. The offense found whatever they were missing last week. They certainly found it.
Now we just need to see some consistency.
Now it's just got to be consistent. You're exactly right. That now, like, we've seen them play well offensively. This is the first time we've seen them play well offensively against a team in their weight class, theoretically, because they did it against Kansas and they did it against
Texas Southern.
This is encouraging. They got to follow it up and make sure that they don't spit the bit against BYU. What's next, Pickle?
And finally, what is the key matchup for Texas to take down their rival?
Don't give up a rushing touchdown in the final seconds of the game.
Yeah,
that's what I found to be
help.
The biggest thing. Like, whatever you do, don't let Mansfield's own Kennedy Brooks get loose for a game-winning 33-yard touchdown run with 2 seconds remaining.
Yeah, or, I don't know, play a second half offensively.
Yeah. Well, offensively and defensively, it was a complete collapse. It was not just the defense, or it was not just the offense.
I just don't know, why did they quit giving the ball to Bijan?
I mean, that's a little bit strange.
Why?
It's a little bit strange. They should have kept feeding him the rock, especially when they were up. I understand when that game got hairy and you need to make some plays, you go a little bit towards
a bigger passing game. Yeah. And freshman was having himself a day.
Well, and part of it is, here's another thing, and like a generous reading of this would say they brought in Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is a much more mobile quarterback than
Spencer Rattler,
and so they didn't game plan for him. But you still shouldn't be able to just get absolutely hammered by a freshman quarterback, especially coughing up a lead like you did. Super disappointing, especially considering this looked like very early. This looked like this could be like the signature win for Steve Sarkisian early in his career.
There was some stats coming out about, like, there were 3 different records that were completely on track to be absolutely shattered from the rushing, the passing, and the receiving attack, and then just
it was anyway
self-combustion.
Yeah, it was disappointing, super disappointing for Texas. Anyway, those are our burning questions from last week. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Pickle! Dairy Max and Dave Campbell's Texas Football are proud to team up this year to honor excellence in coaching and the hard work that assistant coaches put in on behalf of their teams. Each week, the Texas football staff nominates 4 deserving assistant coaches for the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week, and let fans decide on the winner via a Twitter poll. It all leads up to the Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Year, decided at season's end. Your Week 7 Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week nominees: Lubbock Roosevelt defensive coordinator Nate Gensler. The Eagles boast the state's most dangerous defense, improving to 6-0 on the year with a 54-2 win over district rival Stanton, bringing their total points allowed in 6 games to 14. Impressive. Texas City defensive coordinator Blake Ryder. The Stingeries defense shut down state-ranked and previously unbeaten Nederland, surging to a 14-2 win to improve to 6-0. Quinlan Ford offense coordinator Caden Wallace. The Panthers exploded for 660 yards, including 559 yards on the ground, headed up by 193 yards and 3 scores from Jadonovan Williams in a 68-27 romp over Farmersville. And finally, San Antonio Johnson offense coordinator Victor Sierra. Ben McCreary ran for 336 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Tyler Kerwin added another 263 yards and 2 scores through the air to pace a 660-yard assault in Johnson's 62-34 win over district rival San Antonio Roosevelt. So those are your Dairy Max Built by Chocolate Milk Assistant Coach of the Week nominees. Vote now on Twitter at DCTF. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And as we do every Tuesday,
Tuesdays,
we bring in the voice of the Texas Longhorns. You can hear him on the horn in Austin, and you can see him co-hosting High School Scoreboard Live on Friday night on Bally Sports Southwest. He is the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. He is Craig Way. Craig, how does the day find you?
It finds me not bad. It's a Tuesday, and you grind toward the next one, and come off of that one last Saturday. Hoo boy! Yeah, it's onward and upward.
Let's start there. Because obviously you were on the call for Texas and OU there at the Cotton Bowl in a remarkable game. I think it's fair to say a remarkable game. You've called your fair share of Texas OU games. I know obviously for the constituency that you were announcing for, it didn't turn out the way that they would prefer. But from your perspective, as a guy who's seen a lot of these Texas OU games, where does that one rank as far as memorability is concerned?
Well, in terms of its slam bang effect, in terms of the way the game unfolded, I put it right there with the 48-45 game 3 years ago. It was very similar in that Texas had a big lead in that. Oklahoma came back to tie before the Longhorns won it on the walk-off field goal. There's been a few like that have come down to the wire at the end. The 45-35 game in 2008 when Oklahoma was number 1 and Texas was number 5. But in terms of just the jaw-dropping way in which the game turned, I mean, how could it not be at or near the top of the list? It was amazing the way that the game, extraordinary is another word, way that the game ultimately turned. And it turned on 3 or 4 really big moments and big plays in the game that made the difference in the ballgame.
All right, I'm just going to put you on the spot here because I got asked this question on an interview earlier today, and I think it's a good one. Right now, in 4A Division I, if we give you the keys to the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press rankings, in Class 4A Division I, who's your number 1 team? Because I think you got an argument for at least 2, possibly 3, 4, 5 different teams to be there. We've had a lot of chaos the last couple weeks. Who gets your nod in 4A Division I right now?
Probably Stephenville. It'd be really close between them and LBJ, and LBJ's resume is good, but they've also, LBJ last couple of weeks, I don't know if they've gone as far as, to use your phraseology, play with their food, but they've been involved in some tough ones. The one with Canyon Lake, the one with Cornerstone, and we know that Cornerstone is a solid private school. They beat Cal Allen, so we know that. Stephenville, put it this way, Stephenville seems to be gathering momentum now, and they're both unbeaten. So it would be those two. I think you could go 1 or 2 and feel pretty comfortable with.
Talking with Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation in #TF Today. All right, Craig. I know that.
Hey, and by the way, Tab. By the way, I had somebody ask me on my show today. They said, when would LBJ face El Campo? Because I was talking about our good friend Jerry Forrest and Pigskin Prep, and and when they do the projections on the bracket, I said it's HWTF, and it's not the WTF you're thinking. I said it's how would they finish, and we were going through all that, and I looked it up, and I said, well, according to the computer, LBJ would meet El Campo in the semifinal. I said, and then El Campo would take him out. I said, but the computer does not have El Campo winning the state championship. And automatically you're going to say, oh, yeah, that's right, Argyle's up there. No, they're not picking Argyle. Oh, yeah, Stephenville. No, they're not picking Stephenville. Computer likes Melissa to win the 4A Division I state championship right now. So that, I think, speaks to what you're talking about how there's a number of candidates who, when all the dust settles, could be standing there at the top.
And what's so interesting is you want to talk about a contrast to last year, where you had this was 4A Division I was arguably, with all due respect to maybe like Mart in 2A Division II, that was the division that had, or maybe Carthage in 4A Division II rather, But you had the juggernaut, a team that was just like, nope, it's Argyle, and until they show any sort of weakness, it's got to be Argyle. So it goes to show how quickly these things can change. Because, again, go back 2 weeks ago. I think we were having a similar conversation. We didn't think Argyle was maybe as good as they were last year, but we were still having a conversation about, well, until somebody proves that Argyle is flawed, then they've got to be the team to beat. Well, suddenly we're 2 weeks in, and it feels like it is an absolute free-for-all in 4A Division 1.
Yep. I again, because we were talking about Ocampo, Melissa, Argyle, Stevendale, LBJ. Those schools are in some order in your top 10 poll, and that doesn't even get into teams like Cal Allen or a Kaufman that might be dangerous. Who knows? A Midlothian Heritage or a Kilgore, that sort of thing. And somebody else had asked me after that, said, well, what about, did you skip 4A Division 2? And I was like, no, but maybe subconsciously I did, because it's Carthage and then others. And even then, you've got really good teams. You've got West Orange Star. You've got Belleville, who I've been really high on this season. Van, who we've talked a bit about. But it's still Carthage's rodeo until somebody else, lassos it away.
You're exactly right. It's Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Join us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, the hashtag TF Today. All right, I know you do your show on the Horn in Austin. You talk a lot of Austin area high school football. And so I want to bring it to you thusly. I want to give you 3 teams in, let's say, the greater Austin area. 3 teams that I think are having surprising seasons. Maybe not necessarily within the room, but certainly outside the room. Which represents the biggest surprise to you? Would it be Dripping Springs, sitting at 6-0? Would it be Buda Johnson, sitting at 6-0? Or would it be those little old ding-dong Granger Lions at 5-0? Which of those gets the Craig Way, I don't know if I necessarily saw it coming, stamp of approval?
Granger.
Yeah.
And I can say that pretty quickly with the way, and it's going to be fun to watch to see as they continue to build. I've been quite impressed with that. I think, I don't know. I think that in the case of both Buda Johnson and Drip, we knew they were going to be good, maybe just not quite where what they've shown us so far good. And obviously we're going to find out more about each of them individually here coming up real soon. But Granger would be the biggest surprise to me with the start they've gotten off to and some of the margins of victory they've had. I'd say the Lions probably would be my biggest surprise.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and especially considering they've been good the past couple of years, but maybe a little bit under the radar there. Overall, what last year under Coach Stephen Broche said they were pretty darn good co-district champions, but at the same time, this feels different what they're doing down there. All right, Craig, it's time for our favorite time of the week. It's when I put you on the spot and I tell you that you got to teleport to one of these games. You can only
Windthorst Munster.
Let's go. We're road tripping, baby.
All right, well.
Let me hear the other two. But okay. My knee jerk is to say Windthorst Munster, but give me the other two.
Would you rather go to, and I'm going to tug at your heartstrings here, because I know, and I understand they're on different days, but Thursday night, Vandergrift and Cedar Ridge. See, there you go. See, I'm getting them there. I'm gigging them a little bit. Would you go to Allen and Denton Geyer, or I guess Windthorst and Munster?
Well, and I'll give you another one that could have gone in that was high on my list that I was interested in. Abernathy Idalou.
Oh yeah.
I'd be about that one because about Abernathy and Idalou here, Chep. What you got there is you got a Dairy Queen in both towns. I know because I've been to them both, and you go in there. This is a game that is a DQ full meal deal. This is the Hunger Buster with cheese. Might even be the Belt Buster. And then you get that with the fries. And then you want the big blizzard, like the chocolate mud pie cake blizzard thing. That's how big a meal that game is. So that's important. Allen and Geyer, yeah, that's pretty exciting. I think Cedar Ridge is still in I know they've taken one step of proving it to me with what they did against Round Rock. That's a huge rivalry game. But I'm still of the mindset, prove it to me against a really good proven squad like Vandegrift, and then we'll kind of take. By the way, one other side note about that, and we were talking about this on the show last Friday, Tep, Del Valley's win over Aikens,
Yes.
even though it was their first win of the year, it puts them in a position where if they win the ones they're supposed to win, which does not include against Lake Travis this week, but if they win the ones they're supposed to win and they get in the playoffs, that pushes Bowie into the D2 bracket and a bi-district matchup with Vandegrift.
Yeah.
Because Vandegrift's going to be the top seed in D2 because both Round Rock and Cedar Ridge will go Division 1. But to your original question about it all, yeah, I'm really, really curious to see how Windthorst and Munster plays out.
Yeah, the you mentioned the Vandegrift and Cedar Ridge game. The Cedar Ridge last week against Vista Ridge, that spooks me a little bit. I think 2 weeks ago I was a lot more geeked up about like, oh man, I think Cedar Ridge can really test Vandegrift. Maybe I'm overrating the most recent result, which I want to do, but I think that scares me a little bit with them taking on a Vista Ridge team that I think is improving, but still to struggle like that has me a little bit scared.
Yeah, and by the way, in the Vandy Cedar Ridge, isn't that your coach watch along game this week?
It is.
You got that going on this week?
Yeah, we're gonna have South Lake Carroll coach Riley Dodge in studio, as well as Frank Sandoval from West Mesquite in studio. So
if I was in the studio with you guys and we were having some beverages, and I'll just leave it at beverages,
sodas, yeah.
and some meals, then I might be inclined to do it if I was up there at the. Left to my own devices and your teleporting system, it would probably be Windthorst Monster.
Craig, allow me to just tell you that you are 100% invited to come and crash our watch along on Thursday. So,
Anytime.
You're 100% invited.
I'll let you know if I can make it up there for one of them. I'd love to do it sometime. That's for sure.
All right, Craig. Appreciate your time, my friend, and we will see you on Friday on Valley Sports Southwest.
Hey, we'll look forward to it. Pickle, have a great run up to Cook County.
Appreciate it, Craig.
There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today. We'll see if he can do a watch-along. Although he's been, you know what, and I guess I shouldn't tease this unless we can pay it off, but I guess I just will. He's been after me. He wants to call a Texan live game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants to call a Texan live
Yes.
game.
Would you guys like to see Craig Way on Texan Live?
Yeah.
Because we would.
He's been after me a little bit. He's been. I know he's been in your texts and stuff. He wants to do it. So
I was going to say, I've got the schedule on my computer, so
we're trying to make this happen. Get the Hall of Famer on our airwaves. Anyway, we appreciate Craig Way as always hopping on with us. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. You can like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/DaveCamels. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/DaveCamels. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Oh, where'd this go? There it is.
Things are going
We got
great.
so many things here. Pickle! Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and from now on, are proud to team up this year to honor team up this year to honor one head football coach in each classification with the Coach of the Week award. Each coach recognized with this special honor typifies the best in Texas high school football. Your Week 7, from now on, Coaches of the Week. In 6A, Israel Gonzalez from Harlingen South. We had him on the show yesterday. Harlingen native Israel Gonzalez is making waves in his first year back in his hometown, leading the Hawks to a blazing 6-0 start in 2021. After taking down back-to-back wins over Harlingen and San Benito, they have an inside track to the 32-6A crown. In 5A, Dan Sherwood from Amarillo Caprock. Coach Sherwood's squad came into Thursday night's district game at just 1-4, but the Longhorns didn't let the road environment or a tough opponent faze them, as Caprock knocked off Lubbock Monterey 28-7 in convincing fashion to even their district record at 1-1. In 4A, Tracy Welch from Lake Worth. Despite being unbeaten at 5-0 heading into their district opener against powerful Springtown, Coach Welch's squad wasn't given much of a shot on Friday night, but the Bullfrogs proved the doubters wrong in a major way with a statement 48-19 win over the Porcupines. Bullfrogs and Porcupines might have been the game of the week last week as far as mascots are concerned. In 3A, Darby House from Poteet. Coach House has the Aggies thinking district title in District 14 3A Division 1 as Poteet improved to 6-1 on the year and 3-0 in district play, knocking off defending district champion Jourdanton on Friday night. In 2A, Todd Swearingen from Heiko. After winning just 6 games combined in the past 3 seasons, first-year head coach Swearingen is helping the Tigers turn the corner as they open up district play with a 14-6 upset win over Cross Plains to improve to 4-3 on the season. In 1A, Matthew Hoover from Anton. In a matchup of state-ranked powers in Division I, Hoover's Bulldogs held their nerve and rallied from a second-half deficit to take down Whit Harrell 56-51, moving to 6-0. And finally, in the private school ranks, Jake Walksmith from Shiner St. Paul. In a nip-and-tuck affair in their district opener, Walksmith's Cardinals came up with the key stops late to take down San Antonio Holy Cross 24-22 to improve to 5-1 on the season. So those are your Dave Campbell's Texas Football from now on Coaches of the Week. Congratulations to all the coaches, and thank you for all you do for your players, schools, and communities. For more information on how your school can get a one-stop shop experience that transforms how it connects with fans and communities, visit from-now-on.com. One last thing to do, Pickle, before we round it up, and that is the DCTF Top 10 Plays of the Week, presented by our friends at Body Armor. We, of course, invite you to send us your plays using hashtag DCTF Top 10.
Y'all did really good this week. Thank you.
And Pickle,
shout out to everyone
Pickle
who
is the
did
one
that.
who collates all these and puts them together. So if your favorite play is at number 1, it's at Ashley_Pickle12. And use the hashtag DCTF Top 10 to send us your plays. And now, the Week 7 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Top 10 Plays of the Week.
That low snap picked up by Trahan. He just gets out of the end zone, but he breaks free. It's a foot race at the 40, the 50. He's got enough gas to get all the way. He's at the 30, the 20. I believe he's going to make it, the 5 to 10, and the guys were itchy on that one.
Broncos trying to score quickly here once again. Cruz fakes the handoff, pressure coming, he avoids it. Stepping up, and he's going to tuck it and take it himself. Down the far sideline, Cruz has a lot of room to run. Will they catch him? No, they won't. Touchdown Broncos. Connor Cruz answers immediately.
Little man in motion, spread, 4 receivers to the left, looks like a screen. Deep throw down the left side, and they just did their own trickery.
Same exact, almost the same play we did.
Friday. 3rd and 10. It's 3rd and 10. As Bernard throws, and it's picked off, intercepted Christian Pugh. Christian Pugh back the other way, up the sideline he goes. He's got a convoy in front of him, cuts inside of Bernard. He's got to beat him, and he will. Touchdown Westbrook.
Looking to throw, heavy pressure, throws it high, and it's tipped and intercepted. Freddie Hudson there for Johnny on the spot.
Bulldozing his way across the goal line. Number 2 going out to Morgan Pearson and Reese Taylor. Man, that duo is unstoppable, specifically Morgan. I mean, I said it earlier, it's hard to do that kind of stuff.
Flores is the lone receiver on the left, 2 receivers on the right. There's a wingback on the left as well, and it's going to be a handoff to Bednor. He breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, comes out to the right side, breaks another tackle, puts his hand down. He's still on his feet. He's at the 20, he's at the 10, and he is in for the score. Touchdown, James Bednor.
Let's go. What a play. That's what you call demon effort right there, because he was down, basically. They just did not get him on the ground, but he just kept pushing, and broke it loose to make that big run.
On that play, third down and 8 upcoming, bringing it out, and it is caught on. Well, is it? Yes, it is one of the most spectacular plays I will ever see. Vigo Lopez, that deserves at least 14 points, folks. Come on, give him more than that. Wow, Vigo Lopez wasn't even sure if he had it, hanging around by his right earlobe on his right shoulder pads. He said, you know what? I need to hold on to this.
For Dave Campbell's Texas Football Top 10 Plays of the Week. Remember, if you've got to play, make sure you go and tweet it to us. Or, I guess, Instagram, all those fun things.
Yeah.
Hashtag DCTF Top 10. We scour the webs for hashtag DCTF Top 10.
We do. It's always fun to get to see like a bunch of people doing it. That makes it more exciting, and we have access to more plays at that point.
Absolutely. So there you go. And now let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
So there was a question earlier when we were talking about the UNT game as to when I was going to be wearing a ball gown to work, and the answer to that is I will not, because I won the bet.
You won the bet.
We bet not on who was going to win or lose. We had a
pretty clear,
super strong feeling that UNT was not going to win that game, so we bet on the spread.
My wife was unaware of, like, she's not a gambler, and so she was like, "Oh, hey, you don't have to wear a tux." I'm like, "That's not how this works."
That's not how this works. So we bet on the spread. The spread, we set it at 19 points. We did that Friday night, I guess.
Friday night.
And yeah, UNT covered. So the question, I guess, then transfers into when are you going to be wearing a tux to the office?
I don't know. You got to find one, right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Can I wear, instead of a full tuxedo, because I would have to go rent, I don't own a tuxedo, could I go full suit with bow tie? Is that an acceptable?
Yes, but here's my thing. Yeah, I will make it acceptable, but you have to wear dress shoes.
Okay.
Because I know your kicks with suit guy. So I feel like to make it equally as uncomfortable, instead of having to go get a tux, because that is a pain.
Yes.
You have to wear dress shoes, uncomfortable shoes.
Yes. That's fine. I think that's okay.
I feel like that's a fair trade-off there.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll set a date. And it has to be on a Tuesday, right? Because Craig requested
that.
that.
Yeah, maybe. What's next Tuesday? Next Tuesday is the 19th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What?
We're gonna do it next Tuesday. Do you know why?
Why?
Next Tuesday is the 6-year anniversary of Texas Football Today.
Great.
So it's even more of a reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
A celebratory outfit.
There you go.
For that. That works out perfectly. Oh no, do you know what we're supposed to be doing today?
We were supposed to be in Vegas today. We were supposed to be flying out to Vegas today. Pain. I thought about that last night.
Still on my calendar.
Yes.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Craig Way, the Hall of Famer, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.